People are already regretting this Prowl, and it's not because it looks bad. So the real question is, should you buy DX9 or wait for FansToys? Because on paper, this might be the best value G1 Prowl we've ever gotten. But there are some things here that could completely ruin it for you. And once you notice it, you can't unsee it. So before you buy this or skip it, let's break it down. The first ever third-party high-octane B is here. Is it really good enough or too underwhelming? Subscribe to the channel now and be the first to see Byway's rare take on B. And here is DX9's Descriptive, their unofficial MP scaled take on Prowl from G1. Coming straight from the box in vehicle mode, this figure delivers. His entire police car mode matches exactly how it looked in the cartoon. The only deviation from G1 are the logos on the sides of the doors. FansToys might exclude them, but they aren't a problem for me. This is the perfect G1 Prowl car for me, and I have a hard time justifying how removing the logos is worth another $100 for the FansToys release. Now here he is in his classic G1 robot mode. It matches pretty much perfectly with his G1 render. As you can see, with the exception of the logos on the door wings, tires at his heels, and the very middle of his chest, pretty much every detail matches, including the back door wings, which you can hinge backward, downward, and even keep the door windows up however you wish. Now, none of this means he's without flaws. Material quality clearly isn't as bad as Transbot's, but I did encounter issues facing other collectors such as leg stability. Transforming this guy requires extending the legs out, but they lack a highly reliable locking mechanism to secure the extension. This doesn't ruin playability, but it can create annoying experiences when transforming or playing with him, as the legs can repeatedly fall back from their extended position. Transformation will be shown in a video coming soon, but it can be tedious, with a loose screw within the mechanism connecting his head and the windshield, and some tabs tricky to peg in. For accessories, he comes with his one blaster from the cartoon and an alternate head sculpt that is closer to his cartoon look. But that's not it. DX9 did not forget about his shoulder guns, which are integrated with his body. Now pulling them out is kinda tedious, just like transformation. What you will do is unpeg the sides of the windshield at the back. Lift up the head, untab, and lift up the chest and extend this like so. Then shift the sides of the hood outward like this. Get the guns through the openings in the hood. Now rotate each of the front wheels inward like this, though be aware that it can be a very stiff joint. Then bring them downward so they are positioned like this. You're then going to bring the chest back and tab it down and reconfigure the hood and his head. And as you see here, trying to tab back the head can often be very hard. And then it becomes a matter of how you want to display his shoulder blasters and triple his firepower. For articulation, his head rests on a ball joint, shoulders can hinge upward past 90 degrees, biceps swivel, and elbows bend to 90 degrees. Unfortunately, I was very surprised to find no wrist rotation. His hands, though, can bend downward, with the thumb individually articulated and fingers bending together at 2 points. He comes with waist rotation and an ab crunch, but still, with the gap that can typically come, his thighs can make up for the lack of foot rotation understandably resulting from his feet design. Legs can kick outward a big range, upward a bit past 90 degrees, but can't kick backward very much. His double jointed knees, however, can bend well past 90 degrees. You can move his feet vertically, but with an important caveat. When doing so, you're going to make use of this hinge that's somewhere at the inner side of his shin. It does make moving the feet tedious, but you'd still have to give credit to DX9 for making this possible for a cartoon design that doesn't look like that much of a foot. He does come with an ankle rocket, but for some reason, the one on the right foot is very loose on my copy at least, which has caused some minor issues when getting him into more stable poses. Dynamic poses are still possible, hindered only a small bit by the difficult mechanisms of his feet and knees. And so to wrap it with DX9's Descriptive, I personally think it's the best value Prowl for me. Aesthetics are perfectly fine. It may come with a tad bit of some real-life modernization, such as logos and even the apparent toes at his feet. But that is exactly why I like this Prowl. faithful to his G1 render while proving it can exist even in a live environment, but as to whether to wait for FansToys, it really depends on your personal preferences. The DX9 has enough articulation to make some very cool and dynamic poses, but it suffers from loose transforming mechanisms and tabs not fitting in, making transformation and posability more tedious. This figure still is very playable, but at least with my experience, FansToys' figures have the absolute best durability, material, and build quality out of all the third-party companies making transformable figures. So as for my preferences, I think the value from the DX9 is enough, and I don't think aesthetic differences will be enough to pay extra for the FansToys version. But if you feel that the engineering issues are ruining your experiences too much, then I would argue that the upcoming FansToys release would be your best bet. For that, I rate this an 8.5 out of 10. I would love to know your thoughts in the comments below. Do you think the FansToys rendition is worth waiting for, or do you think this is the best value Prowl? Comment about what you think. Other than that, you can buy this guy right now from Shozy's store in the link in the description below. If you found this review helpful, feel free to give the video a like and subscribe for more, and until then, I'll see you next time.